Not everybody, Kenny. Not everybody.
I don't see a course light in your hands, but yes,
Called out by the 94. Called out by the 94 right there. Believe it.
oh, there you go. Perfect.
All right,
It's got to
guys.
be a cover shot, dude, for real. All right.
Looks like we're going to keep this thing moving. Looks like we might have a few more questions, have a little more fun this time around for sure. Zach, holy cow, come into the season, come off an injury, and as we knew you would, 110% effort right away. Come in, had a good ride at Southwick, had put in a heck of an effort at Unadilla, Butts Creek, this and that, and another stellar performance today. Given the circumstances, good season, absolutely. 110% effort. And where does that leave you in preparation for next year, in your opinion?
Really in a really good position. I'm on a bike that I'm really comfortable with, and there's no real changes to it for next year. So I feel like we're in a good place to start next year. You know, when I was successful in the 250, I kind of started the next season where I ended the last season, and that was my championship year. So I feel good about where we're at, and it was nice to end on a good note. You know, if I had not missed the round at Red Bud, I could have maybe been a little bit further up in the points, but at the same time, I had a good rookie season, and I was I think 21 out of 22 motos in the top 5, so it's a pretty good season.
You better believe it. And when we take a look at moving forward, I think you look real comfortable on the machine. You have a good team surrounding you. Seem comfortable with the support. So really looking forward to progressing throughout the next season.
Yeah, I do. I love the team I'm on. I think we have really good camaraderie. I mean, we have more fun than anybody in the pits,
Awesome.
in our lounge and stuff. So I think it's a lot of just me being in the right place mentally and attitude-wise. When I come every weekend, you know, we have a great time, and that keeps things lighter and not so much, you know, pressure environment when we don't need it. So yeah, I'm really stoked to be part of the Rockstar Husqvarna Factory Racing team, and we're going to continue for a couple more years.
Awesome. And you know what? You leave out of here in a good place.
For sure. It's nice to end on a podium.
Kenny, I got to tell you, I've never seen anybody put on early race moves as serious as you have this season. I've never seen anybody take maybe a 4th through maybe 7th place start, and in a matter of turns put yourself in either the front or in a very good position to get to the front. Where did that aggression come from all of a sudden? Because to be quite honest with you, some of your starts last season and early even in this season weren't the greatest. You had to work a little harder, but all of a sudden it seemed like you were able to make moves in turns 2, 3, and 4 instantly. What brought that on?
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting the starts that I've been getting, you have to make something happen early on to
Right.
just get yourself in a good position. The Honda power is just it's so incredible. I can't keep the front end down that results in freaking 10th place start. But no, I don't know. I just, you know, as soon as the gate drops, I try to put it in my head to get up. It's a lot easier to once you're at the front and say, like, you know, I've had a lot of crap thrown at me in the last 3 years, and it's better to fade back a little bit and finish 3rd than stay where you're at in 8th or whatever and try and make yourself, you know, try and go forward later in the moto. And so I just want to get to the front, and then from there on out, I'm not, you know, I only have myself to deal with rather than being around riders, and there's a lot of, you know, left and right and all kinds of crap going on. So, you know, get to the front as quick as possible.
You pretty much answered my next question, because that's basically strategy. Everybody knows that key to the race, get a start. Well, that's any race. But your ability, like I said, to take a not-so-good start and make it a good start seemed like it came all at one time. But like you said, out of necessity, not getting the best starts, making yourself get to the front, and then you honestly believe, I'll race my race from there. What comes to us, rather than battle through traffic and, you know, 8th, 9th, 10th place.
Yeah, no, for sure. And especially, you know, there's certain tracks, conditions, whatever, that I feel a lot more comfortable on. So then, you know, I'm making stuff happen a lot quicker, especially when it's ruddy. And then you're at the front, and then you kind of let the race go from there. And then there's other tracks where it doesn't happen as quick, but the goal is to get, no matter how bad or good the start is, get to the front. And yeah, it's a lot nicer not eating roost.
You look comfortable today. You like the new track, like the changes, the technical section, the corners, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it was super technical for sure. It was pretty tight on some spots. It seems like in some parts of the track they they put on a couple of chicanes just because they needed some more seconds on the track to not make it too short, and it felt pretty tight. But from how deep, with the rain and everything, how deep the track was yesterday, I think it turned out to be pretty bitchin'. And the ruts were gnarly just because the track still had some deeper spots, and there were a lot of them, especially in practice. The track hardened up a lot more, but overall, yeah, it was a good racetrack.
Awesome. We'll turn the field over to you guys right now. Wheels, anybody?
Kenny, obviously you came into the weekend battling with Marvin for second in the championship. First moto was what it was. In the second moto, did you see him around you or see him go down, or did you get a pit board soon after to let you know that
I thought I saw him go down early on right there, and all I thought in my head is that I got to get to the front and try and stay up there as much as possible and suffer in the end and try and stay up there, because you never know. He might get up and have a really good race and come back to, somewhere to the front, and I needed to make up at least 8 points. So I was just trying to go, and then you never want anybody to get hurt or whatever, but it ain't over until it's over. That was my mentality, even going into the second moto, and that was the case. And then later on in the race, I saw Oscar put on there that Marvin DNF, but I really wanted to stay at least in third, just because I didn't know how the day overall would play out if I get passed again. So I was just trying to race all the way towards the end. And yeah, like I said, it's just unfortunately part of the whole sport, part of the deal. Like I said, it's a bummer to win that way with somebody crashing and getting hurt and DNFing, but at the same time, like I said, I've had a lot of crap thrown at me in the last 3 years as well, and that's just part of the whole deal. And overall, I'm just stoked I finished in second. I mean, goal is always a championship, but and the biggest goal I think was racing 29 rounds. We achieved that this year, and that's huge, and that's going to be a huge setup for the next season already. So
yeah, I was going to ask, I know how pumped you were to make it all the way through the Supercross season, to make it through this as well, even with the struggles. Talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
I'm nowhere near 100%, so it's going to be interesting next year. Like I'm really working towards getting healthy, and just I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is talk about every single year that there's something, and unfortunately that's the story of my last 3 years. But I'm over it, so I just want to get rid of everything. These 3 years are done, and I feel like now we're rebuilding an empire, and that's my plan. And I don't want there to be any excuses whatsoever, but I just want to feel healthy for once.
What's the vacation plans?
I'm going to Hawaii next week, and then I'm going to Germany. Haven't been back there in a couple of years, and then we have a Lake Powell trip, and that's pretty much what my next month is going to look like.
Zach, what are the biggest things that you've learned riding a 450 this year?
Those 6 or 7 guys at the front are no joke, and you can't sleep on them for 1 second. I mean, in the 250 class, it was top 5 start, work with it for a little bit, and then kind of go 15 minutes in or whatever. And if you're going out 15 minutes in this class, you're way too late.
Great. Jason?
Thanks, Jason, Racer X. Zach, you've had good days, and then you had days today where you were great. I mean, you were battling and staying right with Eli and Ken for a while. What's the difference between 1 week where you're really good and then 1 week where you seem to even be better than that?
Pre-shoulder injury, it was just, mainly my starts. And then after I got hurt and missed Red Bud, it was more how the track played into my favor or away from me. Washougal was super tough for me, just with the speed and the G-load. And then like these sort of slot car tracks are a lot easier for me, and they come more natural to me. So I think I'm going to have about 10 days off the bike, and I think that'll be a really big, I can make some big gains and improvements on my shoulder before I start to ride for the nations. But all in all, I mean, I was in the top 5 21 times of 22 motos I raced, and I think for my rookie season I didn't have any major flub ups. So I'm pretty happy with the way things went. As far as even you couldn't even really say inconsistency because I was there or thereabouts most of the time.
Awesome.
A question for Kenny. Kenny, your teammate Cole Seeley was injured early in the outdoor series. How has it been just kind of being the lone Honda rider, I guess from a standpoint of maybe pressure on you, as well as maybe not having a good teammate to kind of bounce ideas off and stuff?
Well, I do have Tamita in the team still, but no, I mean, it's a bummer that Cole got hurt, no doubt about it, but in the end, I have a lot on my own plate, so I didn't really think about it too much. Besides that, everybody wants him to be healthy, and obviously he just announced retirement, which is huge for him, and that's a big decision to make and everything. But at the same time, we had a goal and to fulfill, and so I had all my thoughts on myself. I didn't really think about it too much.
And maybe for Zach, kind of the opposite. You have Jason Anderson and Dean Wilson. I don't know if you guys discuss settings much or the track much and how that works.
Well, we're all very different as far as settings goes, just because they're a lot taller than me and have much different riding styles, and I like my bike a little bit weird, if you will, compared to everyone else. So, but we definitely get a lot of talking done, a lot of BS in, a lot of threats and fun stuff. So it's we talk a lot. Nothing serious though. Like we don't make any progress. We just talk.
All right, who's next? Any other questions for these guys?
I think we're good.
All right, thank you guys so much. Oh, Zach, one more thing. Hey, I know that I know how you feel about it. You've had some European experience and such. You're headed over. You're going to represent. How heavy is the weight you're carrying, man?
Not very heavy.
Good. Good. That's what I wanted to hear.
We have a good team of guys, and
right.
We're all in a good place, and I think it is what it is. I think if anything, we're a little underrated, so it's one of those deals where we're hopefully underpaid and over-delivered.
Right on. Kenny, thank you so much. Great season, man. Absolutely glad to see you progress. Glad to see all the things happening in a positive direction for you, and look forward to next year as you build this empire, man. Definitely.